The power of the playlist. How a small number of influencers can shape the music we hear. Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where we help you upgrade your English with trending topics and current events. This is lesson number 396. JR has uploaded the entire lesson to plainenglish.com/396. If you're not yet registered at plainenglish.com, take a minute to sign up because we have full transcripts and additional learning resources available for free, all at plainenglish.com. Well, coming up today, there are 70 million songs on Spotify. Streaming playlists are how music consumers make sense of it all. In today's lesson, we'll explore the 3 different kinds of playlists you'll find on streaming platforms. Today's English expression is light on, and we have a quote of the week from Bruno Mars. Let's get started. Not too long ago, the most influential people in the music industry were those at record labels who decided which artists to take on and promote, and the directors of radio stations who determined which songs to play. Back then, an artist couldn't hope to get records, tapes, or CDs in stores, and therefore music played on the radio without going through a traditional record label. And consumers barely heard any music that wasn't produced by a major record label. There was some logic to this system. It created a manageable amount of music for the public to listen to on a limited number of terrestrial radio stations and to buy in stores with limited shelf space. That's all out the window now in the age of streaming. Today, there are about 20 million songs released on Spotify every year, a staggering amount. Any person with a microphone, a band, and a dream can record a song and then upload it to the major streaming platforms. But the majority of those songs land with a thud. Nobody hears them, and they fade into obscurity. Other songs, though, catch on and can get millions of streams, making it so that even without a label, even without an agent, an artist can hold out hope to gain fame and fortune. But if the road to riches before ran through record labels, today it increasingly runs through playlist editors. Before, music consumers heard new songs on the radio or in clubs, but today consumers discover new artists and hear new songs through playlists. Music consumers today can't possibly comb through the millions of songs released in a year to discover their favorites, so they use playlists to find and discover music that they'll like. And that means that getting on a playlist is an artist's key to gaining exposure to today's music listeners. There are 3 kinds of playlists on streaming platforms: editorial playlists, independent playlists, and automatic playlists. The platforms themselves produce the editorial playlists. Employees of Spotify and Deezer, for example, listen to oodles of submissions and they craft lists of songs based on moods or themes. Sad Indie, for example, is all melancholy songs. Rap Caviar features hip hop songs. To get on one of these playlists, your song has to be good, and you have to convince the editor that people will like it. The concerns of editorial playlist editors are similar to those of radio station managers in the past. If they choose lousy music, people will tune out and go elsewhere to discover their new hits. So the playlist editors have to select new songs and ones that are likely to find favor with the audience for the list. They do have one advantage over old radio stations, though. A single city might have only a few dozen radio stations, so each station had to have a broad appeal. There are thousands of editorial playlists on streaming platforms, so listeners can choose the exact mood they're looking for in a song, and playlist editors can find a home for any song they really do want to include. Independent playlists are a little more accessible for artists. There are many more of these, and they can range in popularity. The people who run these separate playlists are not employees of any platform. They can be music industry influencers, record labels, musicians, or simply hobbyists who like to curate music thematically. These playlists attract followers and likes and can be good exposure for artists. Trap Nation is a playlist run by a music promoter active on YouTube, for example. Both editorial and independent playlists are updated periodically. Some, like Throwback Thursday and New Music Friday, are entirely refreshed every week. Other thematic playlists, like Sad Indie, are updated less frequently. Some songs are replaced in an update, and others might stay a while. And finally, the automated playlists. These are personalized, computer-generated lists or streams of songs selected based on a user's own history and the popularity of each song. The platforms analyze metrics like how many minutes of a song the typical user listens to, how often it's shared with others, how often it's skipped, and so on. Complicated algorithms then determine which songs to recommend and to whom. For an artist, getting on the right playlists is a crucial part of the distribution strategy. An artist has the opportunity to submit upcoming song releases to Spotify in the hopes of being included on a playlist. Spotify is light on specifics. but the company disclosed that it likes to hear the story behind every song in a recent blog post. They also take into account any publicity or reviews the song has had through other media. Record labels include playlist submission as part of the services they provide their artists. Indie artists, though, still have a chance. Spotify says it doesn't discriminate against artists that aren't signed by a label, and they even have a playlist just for those artists without the backing of major labels. It's still a vanishingly small chance. I'm not musical in any way, but I was reading the Spotify guidelines. You create an account with Spotify for Artists to submit a song, you fill out a form, and click submit, and then you wait. And just by looking at the numbers, you can tell that there is a very low probability of success. About a year ago, Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, said 60,000 new songs were being uploaded to the platform every day. Even with a few thousand playlists, there's still just a slim chance of being included. I don't envy people in the music business trying to get noticed, that's for sure. Today's expression is to be light on something. There are a couple of ways to use this expression, so as usual, we are going to stick to just one way. Earlier in today's lesson, I said that Spotify published some advice for musicians trying to get onto editorial playlists, but they were light on details. That means they did not publish a lot of details. So, to be light on something means to offer very little of it. The context is often about the depth or completeness with which you do something. Spotify published some general guidelines on how to submit a song for consideration by its playlist editors. They created these guidelines and published them, but they didn't offer a lot of details. They didn't tell you exactly the kind of songs they choose or how they evaluate new submissions. They were light on details. They didn't offer very many details. Well, that makes sense, right? It's probably not a formula. There's a lot of judgment involved. And even if they did have a lot of specific criteria, they wouldn't disclose the criteria. If they did, then people would just try to manipulate the system. At the same time, though, Spotify wanted to be fair to its community and say something, so they published their article, but they were light on details. This is a very typical way of using light on. You can say someone or something is light on specifics, light on details, light on analysis, or light on facts? I would stick to these, so let me give you some examples. Late last year, I was looking for a new firm to help me with my website, plainenglish.com. I got a number of different proposals from small, medium, and even large companies. Some proposals were light on details. They just wanted me to trust that they'd do a good job. If you've been listening to Plain English for a while, you can probably guess that this approach didn't work for me. I didn't want a proposal that was light on details. I'm a bit of a control freak. I wanted to know the exact approach the company planned to take. I recently searched Google for the best coffee shops in Chicago. I wanted to try something new. The rideshare company Lyft published a list of the most visited coffee shops in Chicago, and I thought that's a great idea. They take people from place to place, so they probably know where people are going most frequently. But the article was light on details. All it gave was a list of 10 coffee shops with no context. They didn't say why one was good, whether recently opened or it's been popular for a long time. And the article didn't have any words written by a human. It was just a directory of 10 coffee shops with zero context provided. So that article was light on details. On a lot of web pages these days, there are sponsored links with sensational headlines. These articles are light on facts. Here are a few headlines that are light on facts. Casinos don't want you to do this, but they can't stop you. This is light on facts. They want you to click on the link and discover, supposedly, the secret to cheating a casino. Newsflash, there is no secret. Pages like that are light on facts. There might be a small fact in there, but the rest is fluff and sensationalism. Here's another one that's light on facts. Amazing car hacks everyone needs to start doing now. This also was light on facts. This one says you should put a plastic bag around your side mirrors, but it didn't really say why. Celebrity news, again, is often light on facts. Lots of fluff, lots of photos, lots of clickbait, lots of speculation, not a lot of real information. You could say that most celebrity news is light on facts, light on details, light on information. Here's one last example, light on analysis. I was researching this lesson and I found an article that included the statistic about the number of songs uploaded to Spotify every day. And I thought, this is great. It's a long article, maybe 1,000 words. I'm going to learn a lot. No, all the article did was repeat that fact over and over, just in a different way. They said 60,000 songs a day is almost 2 million songs a month. Then they took another whole paragraph and said it was 22 million songs a year. And then I started to get frustrated, as they then estimated how many minutes it was in total. But there was no analysis. There was no additional meaningful information or thinking. They just tried to get a long article out of repeating the same fact over and over. That article was light on analysis. It just restated the same thing without providing the kind of insight that I was hoping to get. Today's quote of the week is from the musician Bruno Mars. He started as a writer for other pop stars and then began his own musical career. He said, "You can't knock on opportunity's door and not be ready." All the aspiring musicians trying to get on Spotify playlists are knocking on opportunity's door. They're trying to land that big chance to get noticed. So they have to be ready for their big moment, just in case it comes, according to Bruno Mars. Once again, you can't knock on opportunity's door and not be ready. And that's all for today, Monday, September 6th, 2021. Happy Labor Day, by the way, to those of you in the US and Canada. We have our last of the 3 summer holidays today, as we say goodbye to unofficial summer. When fall comes, vacation time ends, and we start looking forward to what we want to accomplish before the end of the year. If improving your English is on your list, then I'd invite you to come join us at Plain English Plus. That's our membership program that will help you build the skills you need to speak English with more confidence. There's too much to explain here, but if you visit plainenglish.com/plus, Plus, you'll see all the details. Saturday is September 11th, 2021, the 20th anniversary of the date now known as 9/11. Thursday's lesson is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to walk you through the timeline, minute by minute, of what happened on that day and how it seemed on television, where so many of us, myself included, experienced the day. So that's coming up on Thursday's lesson. See you then.